This is the AHSAA Weekly, your inside look at everything happening with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's program, we will take you to Hillcrest High School in Evergreen. The track and field coach, Henry Davison, will join us along with one of his outstanding athletes as we're going to be speaking with Jalen Likely. Also coming up this week, we will speak with the head girls soccer coach at Oak Mountain High School in Birmingham, Coach Chris Blight. We will also introduce you to 3 of the inductees in next week's Alabama High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame ceremonies coming up at the Renaissance in Montgomery. And we will have basketball highlights, a little softball highlights, and some track and field highlights, all coming as part of David Holtzford's highlights, as we will have all of that and more on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly.
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual. Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school, plus all those memories that are on the line too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly. We're going to take you outdoors because it's outdoor track and field season here in the great state of Alabama. We'll take you down to Evergreen. We're taking you to Hillcrest High School in Evergreen down in Conecuh County. We've got the head coach of the Hillcrest Evergreen Jaguar track and field team, Coach Henry Davison, and he has one of his players with him, an outstanding track athlete, Jalen Likely. Men, glad to have you with us this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
Yes, sir. We're happy to be here.
Coach, we'll begin with you. You opened up the team last week playing in the T.R. Miller Invitational, and it went very well, a very successful start to the season for the outdoor track and field team there at Hillcrest. Tell us about the T.R. Miller Invitational.
Yeah, I would say the first track meet, it was a great track meet. Like you said, I had a lot of good performances out there, definitely. And in the 100, like I said, I have a few young sprinters, Jalen Likely, Bryant Benton, Tim Gray, they all had great performances, and it was just good all the way across the board for me.
Coach, this was a homecoming for you. You were a standout track athlete yourself down in Bruton. Tell us about all of your exploits in track and field when you were in high school there at T.R. Miller.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun, going back and actually coaching against the school that I went to. And like I said, when I went down to school, I was a 3A triple jump state champion my senior year and a 3A triple jump runner-up my junior year.
Coach, is that your favorite sport, or do you have something else maybe that you like even better than the triple jump?
I would say, yeah, triple jump my favorite by far, definitely.
Coach, let's talk about the outstanding athlete you have with you. He's just a sophomore. His name, as we mentioned, is Jalen Likely. You've got a great sophomore class, as we understand it. Talk about Jalen, what he brings to the table, his great attributes, and also this outstanding sophomore class that you have there at Hillcrest.
Oh, yes. First, like you said, with Jalen, I mean, it's so much to say about him. I could go on all day, but he's a hard worker. Every day he comes ready to work. He pushes everybody, has an awesome work ethic. And just, man, his potential is just unlimited. It's so much I can say about him. I don't know how far I could go. And then, like you said, with that sophomore class, it's the same as with him. They all work hard, great work ethic, and they just push everybody to do better.
Jalen, as we understand, you came in first last week, had a great, I think there was at one time we thought you had ran a state record. I think there was maybe a clock malfunction or something like that, but nonetheless, you finished first. Tell us about getting off to a great start down at the T.R. Miller Invitational last week.
Yeah, like you were saying, clock malfunction, I'm gonna try my best to, get a better time every event, track event, trying to stay humble you know, keep practicing, keep working hard, try to get the best time as possible. That's my plan.
Jalen, you're good in a lot of different events. What's maybe your favorite thing in track and field?
All the events I run in, I love all of them. Whatever coach put me in, I'm gonna do it. I love all of them.
Also, I think you had there was one of the records set down there at Hillcrest Evergreen was Matthew Likely back in 2015. I'm assuming maybe you two guys are related. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Tell us about, I'm sure track and field, apparently that runs in the family, obviously. One of the favorite things in your family. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. He texted me after the track meet. He congrats me. He gave me some tips, some advice and stuff like that. He helped me out. He hit me up.
Coach, let's talk about this team. We talked about how young it was. Last year in the 4x400 relay, 3 of those were freshmen. Of course, they're now sophomores. The youth of this team is amazing because not only are they very, very good, but this is also a very, very young team. How good can this team be?
Oh, man, now that's a good question. And, you know, that's something we're still going to find out. But this team is going to be something special. And, man, I just can't wait to keep getting the work in and see what they're capable of.
Coach, tell us about what's coming up next. I know we're just really starting the season. Hopefully the weather will cooperate over the next month or so as we get into the meat of the season. What you got coming up next? Tell us about some of the meets that Hillcrest has coming up.
Well, next, this upcoming Thursday, we'll be back down at T.R. Miller for another home meet. And this meet we have coming up is going to be a big track meet. It's going to be a lot of competition there, man. 23 schools are in it right now. So, like I said, this is a good meet to push my athletes and see what they're really capable of and what we can do. And then after that, we'll have a week off of spring break. We'll be back at T.R. Miller, and then we'll have a track meet in Troy and get a little bit closer to sectionals after that.
Coach, this team, it looks like the sky's the limit for them. Just how good overall do you think this team can be this year? What are some of the goals maybe that your team has set for this 2022 outdoor track and field season?
Well, the ultimate goal is state. You know, we want to get as many athletes as I can to state championship, and go there and cause some havoc. Get as many points as we can, and steal some points from some other schools.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and Jalen, thank you so much for joining us. Best wishes to all the entire team there at Hillcrest Evergreen as you make your way through this outdoor track and field season.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Coach Henry Davis and also Jalen Likely of Hillcrest High School in Evergreen Track and Field, our guest this week here on the AHSAA Weekly.
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual. Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school. Plus, all those memories that are on the line, too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. We're going to speak now with the head girls soccer coach of the #1 ranked team in Class 7A girls and also the defending state champion in 7A girls, Coach Chris Blight at Oak Mountain High School in Metro Birmingham. Coach, glad to have you with us this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, you're off to a great start once again, defending champions last year. I think you're like 9-1-1 right now. You're off to a great start. Tell us about the season so far.
Yeah, it's been a good start. We're challenging the girls every day to continue to get better. It's difficult. We've had a big target on our back from the start of the season after being state champions last year, and it's kind of motivated us. We feel like, everyone kind of steps their game up against us a little bit. and we've risen to that. We've faced a little bit of adversity with some injuries that we've overcome, and we're off to a good start, so it's positive.
Tell us about some of the top players on the team. I know you've got some returning talent off that state championship team. Tell us about some of the top players on this year's team at Oak Mountain.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I've got a lot of talent. Kirsten McDonald is one of our junior captains. I think she scored just over 20 goals in the first 11 or 12 games. We have Lane Hope, who's a senior midfielder. Aubrey Gort, who is a senior defender. We've had two fantastic keepers in Kate Murray and Bella Helm who have been doing the job at the back for us. So we're very fortunate. I mean, I could name a lot of names here.
Coach, this weekend coming up, you're going to journey down to the Gulf Coast. You're going to Mobile, and you have some great competition. You always play a tough schedule. That doesn't get any tougher than what you've got this weekend. You've got McGill-Tulane Catholic and St. Paul's Episcopal on tap down in Mobile. Tell us about those two teams and the weekend coming up.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in trying to play the best teams we possibly can. I think that the more competition we get, the better we are prepared for playoffs. Obviously, we got two of the top teams in 6A. One of them was state champions last year. So we're looking forward to being on the road again and facing those very tough schools down there.
Well, when you come out of this weekend, after you play folks like McGill-Tulane and St. Paul's, what do you think that's going to tell you about your team after this weekend coming out of those two games?
It'll tell us a lot, We'll know we're learning a lot about ourselves every opportunity that we get, both the good things and the things we need to improve on. And I think when you play the better teams and they have the ability to expose you a little bit, that's how we learn. We turn right around next week, and we have Coleman and Vestavia to round out before spring break. And, we're looking forward to finally getting some home games because we've been on the road for, I think, 9 of our 11 games.
Coach, I know that's kind of by design that as you mentioned, you want to play as tough a schedule as possible. You want to go on the road, going down to Mobile. This is not an accident that you want to go and play the toughest teams in the toughest environments. I feel like that as you've pointed out to and alluded to, that pays off once you get into the playoffs.
Absolutely, yeah. We are heavily stacked on the road at the start of the season. I think it's 9 or 10 of our first 12 games are on the road. I think we play almost every team in the top 10 in 7A, and we play the top 4 or 5 in 6A as well. That's by design. I mean, there's no shying away from anyone. We like to play the best, and then that's what we're going to do.
Coach Blythe, the Oak Mountain girls soccer program has won 4 state championships. To win a 5th one this year in 2022, what's the keys? What's got to happen? What are you looking for your team this year to win another state championship?
A lot's got to happen before that. We kind of set our goals very small. We have goal by goal goals for every game that we play. Just in terms of getting better, obviously our first goal right now is to win our area. And make it into playoffs. You can't win a state championship if you don't make it. And then just take it step by step, Don't get too carried away at looking at the big goal of a state championship. That's important. But, over the past couple of years, we had a season where we were number 1 in the nation and it got cut because of COVID. Last year we came back and we won it. So we know what it takes to do it. And it's just putting it in place. The girls have incredibly dedicated, and I ask a lot of them all throughout the season with 2-a-days at the first couple of weeks where it's freezing cold and we're out there training at 5:30 in the morning all the way until preparation, both in the classroom, off the field, and on the field as well. And it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and I'm very fortunate with the group of girls that I have.
Coach, thank you so much. Congratulations on the great success you've had there at Oak Mountain. Best wishes to you and your team the rest of this 2022 season.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Coach Chris Blight is the head girls soccer coach at Oak Mountain High School in Metro Birmingham. Our guest this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual. Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school, plus all those memories that are on the line too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. Coming up next Monday, March 21st, it is the Alabama High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame induction ceremonies at the Renaissance in Montgomery beginning at 6 p.m. We are going to introduce you this week to some of the inductees that are going into the Hall of Fame. We're going to begin with Clark County High School head football coach Stacy Luker. His team won the state championship in Class 2A this year at the Super 7 in Birmingham, beating Cleveland in the Class 2A title game 49-41. He is a rare coach. He won a state championship as a player at Sweetwater, as an assistant coach at Sweetwater, and also as a head coach at both Sweetwater and at Clark County. He won 5 state championships at Sweetwater in addition to the state championship at Clark County High School in Grove Hill this past season. He has a career record, I should say, of 232 and 101. Here's Clark County High School head football coach Stacy Luker.
I do because I feel like it's my calling. I feel like I'm on a mission field. I've always been able to relate to kids and have good relationships with them, and to where they allow me to be myself. I just feel like God has put me in the right place. He's put me in the right schools at the right time, and has allowed me to be successful and to be a part of just a lot of great things. Being selected to the Hall of Fame, just very humbling. Just knowing that I'm part of a special group that's a very elite group in my mind, and knowing that you have someone like, you're following people like Coach Nolan Atkins, who was part of the first Hall of Fame class, is also special, and special for me and special for our community and Sweetwater High School.
As we continue looking at our AHSAA Hall of Fame inductees, next is Jana Killen. She is the head girls basketball coach and volleyball coach at Dessler High School in Tuscumbia in Northwest Alabama. Her team just a couple of weeks ago won the Class 4A girls basketball state championship, finishing with a 34-1 record. She has won 7 of the 8 girls state championships in school history at Dessler High School. She has won 842 girls basketball games and over 900 volleyball wins as well. Here's Dessler High School in Tuscumbia, head girls basketball and volleyball coach Jana Killen.
When I was playing sports, I can't really say that I thought I would be a coach that was successful. All I wanted to do was play and compete in anything. And I can remember Coach Tandy Gerald's interviewing me, and he's saying, "You may not win a game this season." He said, he was talking about basketball. And so I was like, that's fine. I just want an opportunity. And so he gave me that opportunity, and I just went to work. I coached basketball, started the volleyball program the following year, and then I coached softball also. Getting to know these kids and being there day to day with them and helping them achieve their goals and helping them have dreams and try to attain their dreams. It's so rewarding to me when former players choose to be teachers and coaches. I've got several people out there who's working hard, changing lives of young ladies, and it makes me feel good to see them doing what I love, and now it's what they love, so it's very rewarding.
And finally, as we continue looking at our AHSAA Hall of Fame inductees, we have Coach Jimmy Perry, the winningest head football coach in St. James High School history there in the city of Montgomery. He was also a coach at Robert E. Lee High School in Montgomery, where he coached them to a state championship game appearance. He was also head coach at St. Paul's Episcopal High School in Mobile and an assistant coach at Auburn University. Early in his career, he had a kidney transplant and has shown great perseverance in battling back from that kidney transplant, and he has been a great example to all. Here is St. James coach Jimmy Perry.
I got to work with some just extraordinary people. Charlie Williamson, longtime football and wrestling coach here in the state of Alabama, gave me my first job at Trinity. When I left Lee, I went to work for Coach Tuberville at Auburn, and the first thing I learned in college football was watch out for the goalpost, because my first game, we were playing Wyoming on a Thursday night on ESPN, and they had the fog machines going, and they had all those bright TV lights, and it's just like driving your car with the brights on in a fog. You can't see, you got to cut your low beams on. Well, ESPN didn't cut them low beams on, and they ripped that curtain back and they said, go, and I went running out on the field, and I saw something yellow go right by my head. And I said, I wonder what that was. And I turned to look, it was the goalpost. I almost knocked myself out on national TV in my first, and I enjoyed winning, but somewhere along the way, and I think in every coach's career, it changes over from that to what can I do to help my players succeed?
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual. Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school. Plus, all those memories that are on the line, too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
As we close out this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly here on WOTM, we want to tell you about some great highlights coming with David Holtzford. We've got basketball highlights, we've got some track and field highlights coming up, and we've got even some softball highlights. We're going to begin with All-Star basketball action, the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Classic this past weekend at Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi. They traveled to the A.E. Wood Coliseum there at Mississippi College. The 32nd annual Alabama-Mississippi Basketball Classic girls action. Opening minute, Hoover's Anaya Hubbard slinging a pass to Mason Marchbanks of Hartselle, who drills a three-pointer to start the game. Marchbanks would end with 7 points. Next shot for Alabama, long two-pointer from Hubbard. She would wind up with 17 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and MVP honors for Alabama in the 89-81 win. Park Crossing's Alexis Andrews would add 16 points, and Samaya Steele of Hazel Green scored 14. Pisgah's Molly Hurd chipped in 5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block as Alabama extended its current winning streak in the Classic with its 5th straight win in a row. The Alabama girls lead the series now 18-14 overall. The Alabama boys All-Stars completed the sweep with a 96-89 win over Mississippi in a game that wasn't that close. Coach Mike Curry's team begins attacking the Mississippi defense. Martavius Russell from Sipsey Valley shown scoring the first points of the game. Next, we're going to see Anthony Pig Johnson from midfield nailing a deep two-pointer. Johnson would end the game with 10 points. Taking home MVP honors was Barry Dunning from McGill-Toolen Catholic. Saw him right there with a big fast break slam dunk. Committed to play collegiately at Arkansas, Dunning ended the game with 22 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 blocks. Russell sealed the game with a couple of back-to-back dunks He finished the game with 19 points and 9 rebounds to help lead the Alabama All-Stars to its 12th sweep in the 32-year series and its first since 2020 as the boys cruised to the win, avenging last year's last-second 93-91 loss at Montgomery's Crampton Bowl Multiplex. We switch now over to track and field. One of the AHSAA's former track champions claimed the NCAA Indoor National 60-meter hurdles championship last week. Trey Cunningham, a Winfield native and Florida State senior, he was a guest on the AHSAA TV Weekly with us less than a month ago. He ran a personal best 7.38 seconds at the national championships being held at the Birmingham Crossplex this weekend. This track is very special to him. He set the national indoor high school national record in the 55-meter hurdles at the Crossplex his senior year at Winfield. He now has won the national high school and college championships on this same track. He closes out his collegiate career this spring, competing for the Seminoles in the outdoor competition with hopes of claiming the NCAA outdoor hurdles title as well before he turns professional. And we close this week with a special highlight coming from a special girls softball tournament being held at Benjamin Russell High School in Alexander City this last weekend. The Think Pink tournament opened on Friday in Alex City with the AHSAA's own Associate Executive Director Kim Vickers on hand to throw out the first pitch. Each team in the tournament selected a cancer survivor near and dear to them to be recognized. Mrs. Vickers, a cancer survivor herself, was sponsored by her old high school, Horseshoe Bend, where she served as softball coach before joining the AHSAA executive staff in Montgomery. She threw out the first pitch for the Horseshoe Bend versus Opelika game that ended in a 0-0 tie since the tournament was an 10-inning and a time limit. Mrs. Vickers' family was there to support her as well as Executive Director Alvin Briggs and his wife Roxy. It was a proud moment for Mrs. Vickers, who is near and dear to all her AHSAA family as well to all of her member schools. And we thank Benjamin Russell for this grand idea and for recognizing cancer survivors and Kim Vickers as well. That's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. We'll see you back here next week.